I mean, dude, I don't think Islam has a lot of weaknesses. He's never fought someone as long and tall as me. He's not fought someone as fast as me. He's not fought someone who has the distance management, the boxing capabilities, the head movement that I did, but also the takedown defense. He might get me down. I hope he does. Because I want to prove to the world that he can't. I want to prove to the world that I can get back up. I want to prove to the world that I can beat him.
As momentum builds toward a potential clash with Islam Makhachev, Ian Machado Garry steps forward, radiating unwavering self-belief. He maintains that every previous challenger the champion has encountered lacked the distinct combination he brings to the table: superior height, extensive reach, exceptional speed, and refined technical precision. Garry is convinced these physical tools, when merged with his unique fighting approach, will present an entirely fresh puzzle that Makhachev has never been forced to solve inside the octagon.
I don't care how long he's trained in that area. I don't care if he's an internationally recognized master of Sambo or not. I'm going to bounce him on his skull. I'm going to take his title. I'm going to take his throne. And I'm going to finish that consecutive win streak. And I'll always be the guy that stopped history from happening.
Ian Machado Garry radiates bold confidence while brushing aside Islam Makhachev's extensive experience and celebrated Sambo credentials, declaring these factors won't matter once the cage door closes. He's issuing an audacious forecast, asserting he'll overwhelm the champion physically, seize the belt, and halt Makhachev's remarkable winning streak with authority and finality.
To be honest, I have nothing but respect for Islam. The body of work he's done is absolutely sensational. What he's done in the lightweight division, the fact that he's come up, he's looked sensational. I'm a competitor. I've told you guys multiple times, time after time after time again, I want to be the best in the world, and to be the best, you've got to beat the best. Islam is at the tippy top of this.
Still, Garry tempers his boldness with genuine respect, recognizing Islam Makhachev as one of mixed martial arts' most elite competitors and framing this potential bout as the supreme proving ground. He emphasizes that confronting Islam represents exactly the caliber of opponent he's been seeking, viewing this opportunity as his moment to validate himself against the absolute pinnacle of the division.
3 of the top pound-for-pound guys. Alex Pereira lost, Ilya Topuria lost, Khamzat Chimaev lost. Ian Garry, I'd feel very good about this.
This is one of them years, and it comes around often, where we just start seeing guys get knocked off that you didn't expect them to get knocked off. Ian Garry's really good. And sometimes we forget how good he is because we want to not like him because he says things or does things, or when we vilify a fighter, we tend to hang on to that. And we've done that with Ian Garry. Like whatever he did in the past, we tend to hang on to that. And then we also forget about how good he really is. He's got great footwork. He's got a really high IQ for fighting. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's long, he's rangy. He's got a lot of experience now. He's always been getting better along the way.
Looking ahead to challenges of this magnitude genuinely excites him. Shifting to external analysis, commentator Din Thomas observes a recent pattern of shocking upsets among elite-level competitors, hinting that Garry might be positioned to deliver the next major stunner. Thomas argues that criticism directed at Garry frequently underestimates his true capabilities, pointing to his exceptional footwork, sharp fight intelligence, considerable reach advantage, and steady improvement as a fighter who rarely commits critical errors.
And he's got wins over guys that guys never could really figure out. Like, he's got a win over Michael Venom Page. No one could really figure out Michael Venom Page. Ian Garry's got a win over him. Carlos Prates, he's an absolute killer right now. Ian Garry's got a win over him. So the fact that he's able to find ways to beat guys that no one else can beat makes him a very dangerous opponent for Islam. Now, I know that there were questions, do we want to see Islam fight Michael Morales, or do we want to see him fight Carlos Prates? But Ian Garry is a very worthy opponent, and I would not be surprised to see an upset.
Expanding on that observation, Din Thomas stated he wouldn't find it shocking whatsoever if Ian Garry managed to pull off an upset triumph over Islam Makhachev. Thomas underscored Garry's continuous development as someone who solves complex problems against top-tier opposition, pointing to his adaptability under pressure, mental composure, and sharp ring awareness as qualities that represent a legitimate danger at the championship tier.
One dumb. I think finishing potential's on the side of Ian Garry. I think he's going to be the more dangerous fighter out there, dude. His range control, if you can make Prates whiff on the feet and not really get anything effective off until round 5, Oh, and by the way, he took that fight on a week and a half's notice. I'm glazing Ian Garry right now, dude. Yuck. I'm all in on this fucking... I'm all in on this upside down world that we're in right now, dude. I'm riding this underdog streak until it fucking sinks. Honestly, dude, I'm on it. I'm on the ship. I'm on the underdog ship. And eventually we're gonna hit an iceberg, but hey.
When it comes to direct forecasting, MMA Guru considers Garry the more threatening fighter in this particular matchup. He notes that Islam Makhachev often credits his mastery of distance management and range control as crucial elements of his success. The Guru proposes that Garry's constant movement and footwork could frustrate Islam across multiple rounds, particularly if he keeps his striking sharp and prevents prolonged grappling sequences from developing.
The second I start picking the underdogs, all of a sudden, Makhachev just fucking dominant. How could you pick Ian Garry? Like we ain't seen the recent events that we've seen. I'm going to go with Ian Garry, dude. I think he's going to be too elusive on the feet. I don't think Makhachev's going to be able to kick at range against him and do that effectively. And I think it's big danger for Makhachev on the feet, man. At range? Listen, against JDM's the same size as Makhachev. Maybe a slight bit taller than him, but they're about the same frame, same size. Makhachev went to the legs of JDM, you know, knowing that he was going to have that stance, and we've seen that, you know, JDM's low kick defense isn't what it's all cracked up to be.
Elaborating further on this concept, MMA Guru contends that Garry's elusive movement and intelligent footwork might prevent Islam Makhachev from establishing consistent striking offense on the feet, dissecting the stylistic clash. He proposes that Makhachev could encounter difficulties landing clean strikes while standing, and also references his pattern of targeting the legs of opponents with similar physical dimensions, emphasizing crucial stand-up exchanges that will define the bout.
How much of a shot do you think you're giving Ian Garry here against Islam Makhachev in this day of underdogs, I suppose? And with JDM and the run that he's had recently, you know, there's no doubt about it. Ian Garry is the toughest sort of test right now for Islam Makhachev, or at least more of a test than JDM was.
Yeah, I mean, you can't sit here and act like, you know, this can't happen after what we've seen this year. Like, everyone around Islam Makhachev has fallen on the pound for pound list. He's the only one that's hung out there in these past like 6 months or so. Even, you know, Merab was like number 3 or 4 when he lost to Yan. So like, it is very possible Ian Garry is hungry for this moment. He is skilled. He is completely focused, like all the stuff. He's got the traits. This is, you know, a very hard fight for Islam Makhachev.
Presenting another viewpoint, Mike Bone perceives Ian Mikado Garry as a credible underdog facing Islam Makhachev, someone capable of mounting a serious challenge against the heavily favored champion. In Bone's assessment, Garry's relentless drive, unwavering concentration, and comprehensive skill set position him as a dangerous contender at the highest level of competition.
Maybe he wakes us all up and says, okay, this is why this guy is different, and in the process breaks the record, becomes the first guy in UFC history to win 17 straight fights. Like, no one has made it beyond this point ever. So like, he is trying to do something unprecedented here, and we see, you know, time and time again, these guys get to the cusp of this stuff and then they fall. So like, I'm bracing myself for an Ian Garry victory already, but you know, Islam Makhachev is spectacular. I think as highly of him as anyone in the sport, any fighter we've ever seen. And if he goes and runs him over and we realize that, you know, Ian just simply isn't on the level, I would, you know, 1, be extremely impressed, and 2, probably count that as one of his top 3 or 4 career victories.
Mike Bone goes further by suggesting Ian Machado Garry possesses the legitimate potential to stun the entire sport, possibly defeating Islam Makhachev and ending an unparalleled winning streak. While discussing this hypothetical scenario, Bone acknowledges that Garry is pursuing something truly historic, yet cautions that countless fighters have climbed this high only to stumble at the ultimate test. He clarifies that a Garry victory would send shockwaves throughout mixed martial arts, while simultaneously recognizing Islam Makhachev's elite capabilities and his proven track record of overwhelming every challenger placed before him.
Garry, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, too tough for Garry. Islam has a good timing of takedown. He's gonna take him down and most likely submit round number 3, 4, yeah.
On the opposite side of the debate, Arman Zarukian has completely rejected the excitement surrounding Ian Garry, declaring he cannot identify any plausible path to victory against Islam Makhachev. Tsarukyan emphasizes Islam Makhachev's proven durability, vast experience, and complete mastery across all fighting disciplines as insurmountable strengths, forecasting a thoroughly dominant performance.
On this point, he is tied with Anderson Silva for the longest winning streak in UFC history at 16 straight fights. Literally no one has done better than this in the history of our sport. So like, he is facing serious history here. If he wins this and gets that 17, what kind of conversations are we having about Islam as the GOAT, where he fits in the all-timers? Like, this is epic, iconic stuff he's trying to do with this win.
Yeah, it's crazy that we never actually considered him in the conversation. Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Khabib, and we tend to forget about guys like Islam. They just kind of sneak under the radar quietly and create this aura about them. And then when you really dissect that, what it is, and you go, wow, it's pretty impressive. It's really impressive. And you know, and I'm willing to say that his strength of schedule coming up was even pretty deep, was stacked, more so than other guys. You know, so when you talk about not only just like his winning streak, like not just his title run, but his winning streak. Like when you talk about guys like, you know, he was just smashing really good guys easily on the way up, like Thiago Moises.
When addressing ongoing discussions about all-time greatness, Din Thomas points to Islam Makhachev's remarkable historical accomplishment. He's presently sharing the record with Anderson Silva for the longest winning streak in UFC history, a milestone unmatched by any other fighter. Thomas proposes that securing a 17th consecutive victory would unavoidably spark legitimate conversation about Makhachev's standing among the sport's greatest competitors. He further mentions that despite maintaining a dominant streak against consistently high-caliber opposition, Makhachev frequently remains underappreciated in these all-time rankings.
To be fair, I have to say even his fight against Bilal somewhat, not shocked me, but I was very impressed. I was very impressed with that fight. I do feel like he's a very smart fighter. He's got great striking ability. Obviously, his length is going to play a part, and he's difficult. You can see for many people, it's difficult to kind of one take down, but to keep down. He gets up really well. He knows his positions. His jiu-jitsu's at a very decent level. Makhachev, in terms of if he gets you down, it's definitely a very different game to fighting somebody else. If you look at
Introducing yet another expert viewpoint, Michael Page commended Ian Garry's cerebral striking approach, reach benefits, and his proven capacity to scramble back to his feet after being taken down. Nevertheless, Page emphasized that confronting Islam Makhachev signifies an entirely different caliber of grappling challenge compared to anything Garry has previously encountered in his career.
Again, it's a very obvious thing. That's where he's going to have the most amount of trouble. And I do feel like he will get to him at least once in a 5-round fight, enough to finish a submission. I think that's where the danger is. If he can stay on his feet, keep the striking, damage him enough to weaken him, so even if he does get taken down, he doesn't have necessarily the strength to finish him. But he's not really a damaging fighter. He's more pointsy, keeps his distance type of striker. So it's going to be a difficult one for him to do. But like I said, he's a very smart, very smart competitor, and he is talented.
Michael Page went on to clarify that grappling exchanges represent Garry's most significant vulnerability. He proposed that Islam Makhachev could lock in submissions during a championship-length 5-round battle if he establishes controlling positions on the ground. Page stressed that Garry's optimal strategy involves maintaining separation, controlling range effectively, and wearing down Islam Makhachev's forward momentum through accumulating consistent striking damage.
To test Islam, who will be going for his 17th straight UFC win, trying to break Anderson Silva's record, which he's currently tied with.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's wow. I think it's going to be a good fight. Ian Garry, it's definitely a tough opponent. Very good striker. But Islam once again, his goal going to be to bring the fight to the ground. And, I think if he's able to do that, he's going to have an edge. If Ian Garry is able to keep it on the feet and Jan gonna have an edge, you know. So it's gonna be interesting.
Georges St-Pierre characterizes this as a quintessential striker versus grappler confrontation. He recognizes Garry's technical striking prowess as a valuable asset, yet underscores Islam Makhachev's wrestling superiority as the most critical element, particularly once the action transitions to ground fighting.
Islam giving like a lot of problems to these welterweights. Like currently the top guys are Ian Garry, Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, all who are very dangerous in their own ways. But it seems like, you know, skill for skill, Islam has the ground edge over all of them. It's just, can he continue to level up on these guys?
Yeah, I think Islam has the edge in terms of skills because he's more well-rounded. He can do it all, and he, especially with his grappling, he's got an edge in that department. And I think that's what he's gonna try to go for when he fights one of these guys.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how far he can go. If he can hit 20 UFC wins, that's another thing I never thought, like in a row.
St-Pierre additionally stressed Islam Makhachev's comprehensive skill set, specifically spotlighting his flawless ability to integrate striking, wrestling, and positional control. In St-Pierre's estimation, even ascending welterweights, including fighters like Garry, Morales, and others in contention, would find it extremely difficult to match the relentless pace and suffocating control Islam Makhachev enforces throughout every moment of combat.
Happy with Ian Garry being the next contender for the welterweight division, and how much of a chance do you give him against Islam Makhachev?
I actually am super intrigued by that fight. Yeah, I think Ian Machado Garry has had some fights that have not been the most exciting. Obviously, there have been a few of them where, you know, the fans have been booing in the arena, and, you know, then Carlos Prates almost got him late in that fight. But I think that Ian, because of the cardio and the experience and the fight intelligence and just the technicality of what he does, I think he's probably the toughest fight in welterweight for Islam.
From a different analytical perspective, Brett Okamoto conveys genuine fascination with Ian Garry as a stylistic challenge for Islam Makhachev, even while recognizing certain inconsistencies throughout his performances. Okamoto emphasizes Garry's cardio-driven approach, fluid movement patterns, and technical striking precision as characteristics that position him among the division's more compelling challengers. Islam Makhachev appears completely dialed in at this stage. His boxing displays evident refinement, showcasing improved timing, crisper combination sequences, and heightened confidence during striking exchanges. This ongoing development of his stand-up arsenal introduces yet another dimension to his already overwhelming skill set. While fight preparations reach their peak intensity, Islam Makhachev stays immersed in training camp. His absolute focus remains fixed on refining every facet of his game ahead of another anticipated title defense.
When I step into the octagon, all I do is win.
Love it. That was it. Very good.
At the same time, Ian Machado Garry is fully committed to his own rigorous training regimen, honing his abilities and readying himself for what he considers the career-defining examination of facing Islam Makhachev at UFC 330. Focus now turns entirely to UFC 330. Ian Garry enters believing firmly in his physical advantages, while Islam Makhachev continues advancing as a comprehensive champion excelling in every discipline of mixed martial arts. The discussion surrounding this matchup only grows more heated. Certain observers regard this as the most serious threat to Islam Makhachev's historic streak, while others remain convinced his dominance will endure once the opening bell sounds. The sole unanswered question is whether Ian Garry can genuinely disrupt history, or whether Islam Makhachev will demonstrate once more precisely why he reigns supreme at the absolute pinnacle of the sport.